Hi guys, it's Wednesday lunchtime. Usually I do a live Q&A at this point, and if you have any questions, always feel free to post them in here. But today I want to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to get a little bit deep with today, and the reason I'm doing that today is because we had some amazing news yesterday. So I don't know if you've seen or if you follow us or a friend of mine on Facebook or in our Facebook groups where you're watching this now, but yesterday we found out that an application that we put in for a change of use through the council for a new unit that we've been looking at now for a long time got approved yesterday. So it's a dream come true, really. I put an application in about 5 months ago to find out about a new potential headquarters for our members, where we run small group and large group training. And yesterday we got the great news that it had been approved. So absolutely buzzing. And what I want to talk about today is how important it is to, although it's important to have goals and to focus on that end goal, that end destination, to also embrace the journey that you're on and learn from it as you go. And for anyone that knows me well enough will know that I've had a bit of a very rocky road, a real roller coaster of a career so far, I suppose. So what I was going to do is try and fairly quickly sort of tell my story for those that don't know it, and those that do that haven't heard all of it. Just give a little story of how I started, or how this company was born, and to where it's going to be going to in the next few months. So I started off as a lifeguard when I was 16 years old. I wanted to do something practical, physical, where I could actually not have to sit behind a desk. Believe it or not, that's what I'm doing more than anything now. But I got a job as a lifeguard, and then got a job in the gym at the same place, at the Dolphin swimming pool. They trained me up to work in the gym. So that was brilliant. Worked in the gym full time, and then decided I wanted to try personal training at the age of 18. The idea of earning £30 an hour cash sounded great. So trained up as a personal trainer and started doing some personal training there. And it was all going well. And then unfortunately, we had some really bad news that my mum had cancer. So at 16, I was told my mum had cancer. She was 40 years old. And when I hit 20, so 4 years later, she was 42 when she found out, 46 years old. My mum died of cervical cancer 6 weeks before my 21st birthday. And things just kind of, it put a spanner in the works, really. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself. I kind of could have gone one of two ways, really, I suppose. I had a bit of time off work. I went traveling for a while and didn't really know what I was going to do. Very young age, real tough time. But I went traveling. I went to South Africa, Australia, New Zealand. And when I was in Australia, I noticed how so many people were exercising outside. We compare Sydney to Poole. Similar harbour, but very different weather, and I didn't know how it would work, but I saw all these outdoor groups exercising in Sydney Botanical Gardens. I also saw a lot of small personal training studios in Australia as well. I thought, hang on a minute, there's an idea here, and it kind of got my spark back. It got a buzz back, and I thought, this is something I could do when I get home. So after traveling, got home a few months later, refreshed, sort of re-energized, ready to focus, and started running some small outdoor classes outside, and went back to the gym I was working at very temporarily to get some hours in, and realized that wasn't for me. I didn't really want to work for anybody anymore. I wanted to maybe be my own boss and have a go at running my own business. Didn't have a clue what I was doing. Early 20s, over 10 years ago now. And I thought, no, I'm not going to go back to the gym. So I started training people outside in small groups, and then one-to-one. And then winter hit, numbers dropped, and I thought, okay, what do we do here? So I started hiring a really, really small hall. It was on Lagland Street in Poole. A bit of a shithole, to be honest, but a real small hall. And I remember the first session I ran, it was mainly family and friends just trying to support me. And I wasn't making any money from it. I was just about covering the cost of the hall. We also had tables and chairs that were laid out, and we had to pack them all the way at the start and at the end, but family and friends do that for you. But then, word got around a little bit. I didn't really know how to advertise. I wasn't advertising, but managed to get a few extra people, started making ends meet, got a few customers out of it. But back then it was kind of a £5 pay as you go, once or twice a week, see you later. No further support, nothing like we offer now with regards to nutritional coaching and diets and everything like that. It was just a place to go and do a circuit. So that worked well. And we outgrew that place fairly quickly. We get about 25, 30 people in that hall, and thought we could do something a little bit bigger. So we moved around the corner to Poole Old Town First School, and we were running about 3 evening sessions in their school hall. It had air conditioning. You didn't have the tables and chairs lying around. They had some benches and mats we could use. So I didn't have to buy all my own stuff off Amazon or secondhand off eBay. So that was really good. And then we outgrew that, took a bit of a risk, and hired Poole High School, which was huge, and at the time about 3 times more expensive than what I was paying. I didn't really have the numbers to support it, but sometimes you've got to take a risk, and I've done this a lot in the last 10, 12 years. I took a risk, took a gamble, which kind of paid off temporarily. At the same time as that, I had also started renting a very, very small studio. It wasn't even a studio. It was an accountant's office that we converted into a little gym, put a treatment room out the back where I hired it out to a beauty therapist to help pay towards the bills. And it was above a hairdresser's. Turned out that the hairdresser below was actually the landlord and didn't like us having a gym above. We didn't stay there for too long, a few years there, before I decided to take another big gamble. So we were hiring in Poole High School. That wasn't cheap. We'd outgrown this small studio in Broadstone above the hairdressers, and I took an absolute risk to try and find a big unit. So we put some money behind everything I had saved really into a big unit. Again, we had to go through the council to get it approved, and the council rejected it. So I actually lost, I think, about £3,500 of my saved money on this failed unit that we went for. And a friend of mine said, have you tried Arena, which is where I'm doing this from now, Arena Business Park, and they were very happy to take us on here, but a lot of money that I wasn't really prepared for at the time. But again, sometimes you take risks, they pay off, they don't. And we took on this unit here, and it was very, very tight, very tight. And no, it just seemed that everything I was earning, I was spending out again. I was a one-man band. I was doing personal training, one-to-one training all day, every day. Yeah, sometimes till 8, 9 o'clock at night, especially even at weekends, getting up early, working a Saturday, some Sundays, just had no life. And poor Amy, I'd met Amy, my wife, at this point, and we weren't really spending a lot of time together, but it was getting busier, so I couldn't complain. But it was just making ends meet. It wasn't really working. And I was, to be honest, losing money every single month. Every month I'm thinking, how are we going to pay the rent here? And how do we go from here? So I had about £1,000 left in the bank. And someone had told me, I'd actually met a girl on holiday who's also a boot camp instructor and a personal trainer. And she told me about a company called FMA, Fitness Marketing Agency, that help you get new members. And I wasn't doing any marketing. I was having a little go on Facebook now and again. I tried flyers, leaflet drops, standing in the high street, handing out flyers door to door, and flyers don't work. You know, it's like when you get past one of those. So spoke with this company, and they said that they could help, but it was going to cost me a few £1,000s. I didn't have that. So I got off the phone. I asked for a credit card. I can't remember who I used now. Got a credit card authorized pretty much within minutes, like you do. And I used my last bit of money on this gamble. Again, another gamble, which I have to say massively paid off. I paid the money, listened to their advice. I'd actually booked a holiday to go and see my granddad who lives in Spain. So I was over in Spain, and all of a sudden I was getting calls coming in. I was on holiday in Spain with my family, and calls were just getting booked in left, right, and centre to find out about our programs and the gym and that sort of thing. So I remember on holiday, I was on the phone for about 2-3 hours a day, sweating in the sun, and actually getting sales, you know, making sales on the phone, making some money, the most money in a week that I hadn't even made that in the previous month. So it just showed that, you know, speaking to people that know what they were talking about and having that, making that risk and having that confidence in them to help me completely paid off. To this day, I'm still with the same company now. I've been with them now 2 years, and it's going extremely well. You know, even this sort of thing I'm doing now are ideas that they give you just to keep, you know, in the public eye, really, so they remember where you are if the time ever comes up where they need some help. Fast forward a few years now, we're at the unit, and things were going well, but I was still running the big classes at the hall and paying all that extra money and hiring halls, and the business model wasn't working. So decided to change it up, hired another mentor, another coach, also more money going out. We changed things up. We did some new programs, and to date, you know, it's going so well. This is a couple of years ago that we're thinking, how do we expand, take on some staff, add more programs? And then a little thing called a pandemic hit, just as we were finally getting momentum. 10 or 11 years in the making, things were going so well, and then we hit the pandemic. And we've gone from, you know, 120 members when we were doing our group training outside, that we obviously, I had to change our business model when we come to Arena. We lost a lot of members back then. built up a new business, 120 members in our gym, in our new gym in Arena, and then the pandemic. And we lost overnight, we pretty much lost half of our members. Just people obviously panicking financially, stop, membership stopping everywhere, and tears. You can imagine absolute just heartbroken from years of working hard to get to a level where it was finally paying off and finally working for me and my family. Then the pandemic, and again, just lost all those members, everything we worked towards all those years. And yeah, really scary stuff. But thankfully, with the support I had with the marketing agency and my business mentor, Dan, who's amazing, if he's watching this, he's helped me a lot. We managed to keep enough going, obviously support from the government with respective grants and bounce back loans and everything like that. Arena here helped as well. Managed to keep the business going. All of our members that stayed with us at the time, we've been truly grateful to them, who kept supporting us. Even though the gym was closed, they kept doing some stuff online. And then obviously restrictions eased, so we managed to reopen. And to date, since we've reopened, we've now helped probably about 400, 500 brand new people, some of which have had COVID, some of them are still struggling with it now, to get fit and get healthy. So much so to the point where we've been so busy, we've now got 6 coaches and we are moving into our bigger gym. So here's a little update on that. So we're going to be signing the lease for that in the next few weeks. However, the downside is there's a massive delay at the moment, a massive wait for materials. And because we're actually having a real renovation, we're putting a second floor in there. To give you an idea of the layout, we're going to have our gym room downstairs, which will be small group training, up to 8 people in a room maximum with 2 coaches helping them. So it's not like a big public gym. Even though we're going bigger, we don't want a big gym. People that come to us don't like big gyms. That's why they like it, because it's small and supportive and personal. And upstairs, for those that don't mind a bigger group to train with, we'll have our larger group training. But the difference is with us, obviously, it's not like a normal gym, because everyone get support of nutrition, mentality, coaching, mindset, accountability and support, checking in all the time, and just nurturing and education as well. So it's very different. But my whole point in today's video was to say that although we have goals, my dream 12, 13 years ago, in fact, 14 years ago this year, when I first qualified as a personal trainer, was to always have everything under one roof. And I've hired halls in the area. We've done outdoor classes. We've had small studios, a bigger studio, but finally the dream's going to become a reality. And in a few months' time, most likely by Christmas, if not early next year, we're going to have that dream facility. And, with everything that I've been through over the years, and, going through that trauma of losing my mum, and also, with the pandemic getting in the way, throwing a spanner in the works, sometimes we have these goals and things get in the way, but you cannot let them defeat you. You cannot let it beat you. You've got to rise above it. I think when people are faced with or at a crossroads, you can go one of 2 ways. You can either let it beat you and use it as an excuse, or you can use that energy and turn it into something positive. And I always say, everybody has the ability to turn a negative situation into a positive one. So, when I lost my mum when I was 20, I could have easily gone off the rails. I was hanging out with young people I worked in the gym with, going out drinking. I thought, this is not what she would have wanted. She was a runner. She was healthy. She was fit. So I joined a new gym. Even though I worked at a gym, I joined a new gym, and I started going to the gym most days just to try and use up that negative energy into something positive. And every day now, I just think that I've got to make her proud. I've got a young family myself who I want to make proud and give them the life that we didn't have growing up, and make some amazing memories with them, because at the end of the day, life's too short. And if you're watching this and you're somebody who's been on the fence about getting fit, getting healthy, and you've got a fitness and health goal, it doesn't matter what your goal is. It could be related to financial, family, personal, health. If you've got a goal, it's never too late to start. We've got 74-year-olds starting with us last week, and I spoke to another 72-year-old today who's starting with us next week. It's never too late to make a change, guys. I know it's been a bit deep and a bit long today, but let me just round this up. I don't know if I can end that now. But honestly, any questions and anything, if this is obviously meant anything to you today, if you've watched from start to finish, thank you so much for bearing with. It's a long one today, but I will share it as well. And if anyone else that needs to hear it, or they need to kick up the bum or just some motivation, tag them in, comment them in. But guys, thank you as always for your support. If you are members of ours or 6-week members of ours, I can't wait for the share in the near future with you. Thank you for your support, and keep up the great work. Let us know if you need anything at all.